A lot of people were commenting on part 1 of this video saying that Jamaicans and those who are of the Caribbean diaspora and the African diaspora, pretty much anyone whose ancestors went through the transatlantic slave trade, we are descendants of the original Israelites that came from the land that is now called Israel. And we are the descendants of those, particularly in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, as well as the US. We are the direct descendants of those of the tribe of Benjamin and Judah, which are from the 10 lost tribes of Israel. So again, a lot of Afro-descendant Jamaican people and Afro-descendant people throughout the Caribbean are of Igbo descent.
Hell no, to the no, hell to the no, to the no. No.
So in my research, I learned that in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies actually captured Jerusalem. Jerusalem was invaded by the Romans in 70 AD, and the Hebrew people escaped and fled to West Africa to blend in with the African people. So I'm assuming that physically, phenotypically, we looked very similar to the people who were already in Africa, but culturally, religiously, we were different.
Stop it. Get some help.
Moor or Morano was a blanket term for the Israelites, meaning black, who were taken to the areas of Spain, Portugal, Germany, England, and Rome by the Romans in 70 AD as slaves. But when the Roman Empire fell, these Hebrews took control and ruled those areas and remained there until the European powers took back over, like in 1492. This is how you get terms like Anglo-Saxon, which translates as the angelic sons of Isaac, or the German name Kop, which is derived from the Hebrew Yaakov via the Latin Jacobus. The name was changed throughout the major European languages from Jaquez, Giavaco, Giacapo, Iacapo to Kop. Hence names in German like Schwarzkopf. Schwarz is a surname of the German origin meaning black. So names like Schwarzkopf translate as Black Jacob.
Picture of King James can be a little confusing, because when you Google King James, this is what you're gonna get. But the truth is, the real King James is black, and he authorized the translation of the Bible. King James came from a long line of black steward kings. His line had 343 years of rulership. They ruled Scotland, Ireland, France, England, Britain, Wales, and Spain. King James was able to rule those lands because all of those people were black. You see the ball in his hand? It represented world rulership. There was only one other group of people that used this type of symbolism, and it was the Byzantine Roman emperors. King James ruled from 1567 to 1625. King James was also against the Roman Catholic Church because he was against homosexuality and smoking tobacco. So he had numerous assassination attempts from the Roman Catholic Church. It's 2021, so if you're ignorant now, you're just choosing to be. Life for part 2.
Said that the Hebrews were enslaved for breaking the rules of Yahweh, which is the Hebrew term for who Christians call Jesus. Many people in the comments said that we, as in the African diaspora, those who whose ancestors endured the transatlantic slave trade, have been and are paying dearly for the sins of our ancestors and the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. So the book of Deuteronomy tells the history of Israelites from the Old Testament and gives a biblical explanation for the transatlantic slave trade. So particularly Deuteronomy 28:15 to 68 speaks a lot about the history of the Israelites and prophesizes a lot that has come to pass amongst those of African ancestry. So I'll read a few passages out of it. It's quite lengthy. Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, while your eyes look on and fail with longing for them all day long, but you shall be helpless. A nation that you have not known shall eat up the fruit of your ground and all of your labors, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed continually. He shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. Because you did not serve the Lord your God with joyfulness and gladness of heart, because of the abundance of all things, therefore you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord will send against you, in hunger and thirst, in nakedness and lacking everything. And he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. And the Lord will scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other. And there you shall serve other gods of wood and stone, which neither you nor your fathers have known. So yes, that is the passage that a lot of people urge others to read if they want to learn about the history of the Israelites. And that's a lot. Like, based on that passage, God was definitely very angry with the Israelites. I'm happy to share this history with you all and this insight just for you guys to look into and to further question. And I hope this inspires those watching and documenting our place and our impact in this world. So I'm happy to share part 2 of the history of Jamaican people, which also applies across the entire African diaspora.
It says, but false prophets also arose among the people, just as there will also be false teachers among you, who will secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the master who bought them, bringing swift destruction upon themselves.